joining.
Thanks for having me.
So before we started like recording,
Yep.
we're going into like all the history of Arbortec.
Yeah, so Arbortec started about 30 years ago. It's founded by two brothers that still own and work in the company. We manufacture chainsaw protecting clothing, so chainsaw pants, boots, and then we have a load of waterproof jackets and a full range of winter clothing, as we call it, which are sweaters, etc.
Right.
And it was brought about because the demand for a different style of chainsaw protection, because at the current when it first came out, the only thing on the market were these big, heavy duvet type chainsaw protection pants, which just were not breathable, not flexible, and not comfortable to work in such a manual job.
Yeah.
So they started by innovating something that was just had a bit more flexibility, but still had that durability from a chainsaw pan, which is where the Reflex Original was born. And then as the years have gone on...
Was that like the first... the product was like, that was the initial product that got you going? Yeah,
that was the thing that really kind of took off for us, was our chainsaw pant. We have a full range of chainsaw protected boots as well, and again they were really kind of taking off as well. So the combination of the two, with the background of the brothers' previous jobs working with outdoor clothing and safety protection, they had a really good understanding of a walking boot and a safety boot, and kind of really connected the two together and used that kind of knowledge that they had of the two, and kind of that's where the chainsaw boot kind of design came from. They looked at all the key aspects of a really good walking boot and a protective boot, and kind of combined the two together. And the same with the trousers, using a broader, because this job is a lifestyle, right? It's not just a job.
Very true.
And it's very, very manual and very taxing on the body. And the positions you have to get in when climbing or even just doing groundwork, it's tough, right? And you need that flexibility. So having protective clothing that can allow for that stretch, for that comfort, and keep you safe was really, really key to the company and to the brand. And you can see that as our brand and our pants especially have evolved. And I do call it an evolution, right?
Sure.
Because you can see, and that's one thing I love about Arbortec, is the innovation in the brand. And it's really important to them to ensure that they are keeping up with the demand, because it just keeps getting tougher, right? It's things, we're very conscious about the comfort in the industry and keeping people safe, and then hopefully retaining staff because they're comfortable in what they're wearing.
So how much of the focus is on, it's kind of like the old adage, like you look good, you play good type of thing, or like you look good, you feel good.
Precisely.
Is that because it is so cultural, is that a pretty large aspect of the way
Huge aspect. So one of our key selling points is our full colour range. We have a massive array of different colours in our different styles, which means you can have your individualism, which is a really big part of this industry. People want to have that, they want to feel part of a team and look part of a team, so having a uniform look is wonderful, but they also still want to have this individualism. So
if you flair.
If you want to go, super chic and have all black or all olive, great. But if you want to be all bright and colourful and vibrant, we have, aquas, we have purples, we even have one that's called the Harlequin, which is all multicoloured. We have on both sides of the scale of individualism. So it depends on what your kind of style is, and we really push and lean into that with what we do.
So if there was a theme to some of the things you mentioned you were working with Jared, who you were just talking about.
Yeah, academy trained.
Yeah, you're working on a new product release with him, but maybe, I don't know if that's a specific thing that's like new, or if there's maybe an overarching theme to some of the newer products that you're bringing to market.
We definitely kept, if you like, with a theme of that flex and the stretch and the breathability is something that we've continued to work on. So the new product that you're talking about is the one we're launching on the 7th of February, which is actually tomorrow, which is the vented trouser.
Oh, wow.
Which is, you know, we're a European brand. We don't get the extreme weathers that you get over on stateside. So something we'd been kind of playing around with the idea for a while, and then we partnered with Academy Trained. We use them for our product development as well as others on stateside to help develop this new very lightweight, breathable, fully ventilated trouser or pant that is just going to accommodate for the extreme heats that you get over here. And what's really great about Arbortec is we have our own factory in Portugal, so we manufacture everything ourselves. And in where we're based in England, in Norfolk, we have what we call the Innovation Centre. It's the Arbortec Innovation Centre. It's my office. In that facility, amongst amazing facility itself, with a big auditorium and everything else where we can do training, we have our own lab.
Oh, wow.
And in this lab, we have all the machines you could have possibly think about, from a cut test machine to an abrasion testing machine to right down to like waterproofing and color testing and you name it, we've got it. So it means what we can do with the innovation project is we can innovate products really quite quickly because we can do all the testing in-house up to certification. Sure. Obviously it gets sent off to be certified. But up until that point, we can make changes really quickly. We can adjust little things. One of the cool things we did with Academy Trained was we did this product development meeting. Now, obviously, they are stateside and we are in England. And they're all over the States as well.
Right.
So what we did is a virtual product development meeting because we have, you know, webcams and everything set up in the lab, so we could do like real-time changes to our product to ensure that it was going to meet. And so again, that process is really important, that we're kind of being able to do it as quickly and efficiently as possible, whilst gaining that really meaningful feedback from the end users that are in the products, on the tools, all the time, so that we can produce. Everyone wants to be the best, right? And that's our, you know, we want to have the best product on the market. We want to be the most comfortable, the most flexible. We want all that, and we strive for that, and we take a lot of pride in that.
So what was the initial idea? Was it Jared and his team, or was it your team that was just like, hey,
so it's something that obviously our team had been thinking about for a long time, because we have our Breeflex Pros, our best-selling trouser, which is, you know, got this, like I keep talking about, this stretch, and the fabric's really comfortable and everything else, and it has a zip vent on the back which can be closed. And the feedback we were getting, because we constantly ask for feedback, good and bad, obviously, because how else do you develop and how else do you improve? So the feedback we were getting was obviously stateside, as I said, the extreme weathers meant that it wasn't as comfortable in that hot weather as some of the other chainsaw trousers on the market. So we knew it was there. We just took our time to be able to develop a trouser or pants that we knew was going to be right from the get-go. So we're super excited for that to be launched.
How long was the process, front to back?
I mean, if you include all the years that we've been thinking about it, a while. But once the innovation and once we started that project, about a year.
Wow,
so,
that's pretty fast.
It was really quick. It was really quick.
You know, if you own your own manufacturing, you can kind of move.
Yeah, and as long as we tested all of the trousers in the hot period, you know, that's when we needed to know, and product testing and development. And it's something, like you said, we're quite fortunate because we work globally. We're an international company, so having all these contacts all over the world and stuff meant we could kind of test the product quite quickly as well. So it did speed up the process, being able to do that.
So what do you think's, and I'm not asking for any spoilers, but like, what do you think's next? You know, there's a yin and the yang of, you know, climbing and you know, machine and safety aspects to both. What do you think? Like, fast forward five or so years. Yeah.
So I think, so PPE is supposed to be the last resort of safety, right? Sure. You want it to be your last resort. So obviously in Europe, you can't pick up a saw without PPE. So coming over here is slightly different, especially as once you're aloft, you don't even need to wear protection here, whereas back home we wear all-round protection, so front and back, when you're climbing. So I think the shift will be in the regulations here of enforcing more people to what I would like it, because not for my own brand, but for the safety of, I can't look at someone without PPE and watch them use a saw. It makes me cringe, right? Because I haven't known any different. So hopefully the shift will be, so people are more educated in, yes, it should be a last resort, but it's still, for me, it's a no-brainer, right? Why would you risk your life for the sake of a pant or a boot? It's, for us though, it's about staying up with the demand, and people are becoming really skilled climbers, right? Really skilled, and skilled on the ground, and like you said, machinery and everything else, but still always going to need protection, right? Because it's not worth your life just to save yourself putting on a pair of pants in the morning, right? Or a pair of boots in the morning. You're going to put them on anyway. It might as well be protective. So for us, I think it'll just be a constant push to try and help educate people in the importance of wearing safety, and educate people in the importance of learning to upskill. That's why we support all training providers. We set up the Arbortec Academy a year and a half ago, where we help the education system and help people like grassroots coming up to not only obviously learn the safety aspect, but also to educate themselves and better themselves in the industry. The industry itself, as you well know, is changing so quickly with battery saws and large-scale machinery and stuff like that. So just being able to keep up with that. Battery saws for us is a big one. There's no currently there's no certification actually for a cut test on a battery saw. Interesting. So and they're different enough that needs to happen? Chain speeds are changing massively. They're getting quicker. So it's something that the certification board should really look at, because the chain speed will affect the effectiveness of everything, right? It's obviously more effective whilst actually working, but with the level of protection that will need to scale up. So it's definitely something we're always on checking on and seeing who's talking about it. So that for us is a big one. Hopefully we can change it so the certification start looking at battery saws as a completely different test cut. So it's quite exciting. Well, I appreciate you chatting. No, it's very pleasure. Interesting. I learned a ton. It's like I'm not necessarily in the tree as nearly as much as all the people I've been talking to. So it's just. It's a great perspective to have. And I think that, having connections and talking to people, looking at the broader scale and the broader market out there of this industry is not just tree work. It's landscaping, it's ground maintenance, it's plant healthcare, it's branching out into all of those, no pun intended, but all those other industries that are linked so closely to tree care and the arboricultural industry, and being able to support them and have that. Let me ask you this. How is the design and like the cool factor factored in, right? Like, how do you, because I'm imagining that it's much easier to make something that's kind of ugly and not attractive versus something that's just like, honestly, that was the first I told you. It's like, as we started going to some of these trade shows and, getting more aware of what's going on in the industry, is like, there's some pretty awesome gear that is, serves function, but it also looks pretty awesome. And I have to say, huge, because for us, especially stateside, we're known as a European fit, so we're a slimmer fit in trouser or pant. But that's because we believe in that stretch without the bulkiness of all the extra fabric, especially when you've got a harness on or you're climbing over a load of brash or fences and things like that. We want the less likely to snag, etc. So for us, like I was saying before about that uniform look, something that looks good, it's really great for sales, it's great for retention, it's great for recruitment, so it is a huge part of what we do, and we're very we've got an amazing marketing team, and we've done some amazing campaigns over the years, and marketing and branding is something we really pride ourselves in, and that comes right to the fact that this industry especially, we're like magpies. I mean, I talk from my own personal experience. I like the shiny and new, and I like to look cool, and I like I'm not a bright colour person personally, but I like the fact that I could have the matching colours in whatever colour that might be, whether that be from my PPE to my climbing kit to my bags to, my anything at all. I like to have, and I know I'm not the only one, and I've seen it around, and it's definitely a big push of ours. The colour, the comfort, the customer care is what we pride ourselves in as a brand, and you can kind of hopefully see that even just
the website looks incredible. It's just like, there's a level of cool. There's so much pride in this industry of, and there's such identity with the climbers, and there's names of people that, have just paved the way and are just people look up to. And
right, and like we were saying about that innovation, and one of the big things about Arbortec is we're so much more than just a PPE company. We're a brand, and we try and build this community. Why we built the whole Arbortec Academy back in England and have branched it out across the world is because we truly believe about building this community for the better and safer and more educated, and giving back a little bit using our network system and everything else. So connecting everyone into this one, it's a very small little niche of
once
a
you
market.
get in it, yes.
And so using those influences and those people that you're talking about, and being able to grow that with them and help support them. And there's a big demand for recruitment at the moment across the globe, and trying to encourage new people into the industry. Women, we've got a full female line coming out.
There's a huge event yesterday.
The Women in Tree Care at TCI. It's been amazing. And so, like developing this full female line, so we have gloves, boots, jackets, and pants.
Gosh, we need to get into that.
It's huge, and that is definitely something I'd talk to you about again, because the innovation in producing that, we already have a female fit trouser. I personally still wear the men's trousers because I like the fit and the stretch and the comfortability that we've talked about of the evolution of the trousers.
Right.
So I still wear them, but now the female fit's coming out in some of our stretchier designs. I will obviously be wearing those from now on. And that whole process was a big process.
I didn't even think about that, but that's such a great point. That's like honestly maybe one of the larger changes to at least the workforce. Yeah,
because at the moment, women just, one, there's very few of us in the industry. Two, we're not getting the intake that I believe that we could yet. And it's a bit like what comes first, especially for us as a manufacturer, the chicken or the egg, right?
Absolutely.
So do we wait for the demand to be there for women, or do we be an advocate for women and have the PPE
have the product ready and waiting?
So women aren't coming into this industry going, I would like to do this industry, but it's a shame that I have to wear men's PPE that doesn't fit me, that's uncomfortable, that I'm having to size up because I need to get it over certain areas that are bigger than others, and I'm making do with what's on the market.
Right.
And I'm so pleased that I was able to be a part of that development process, being obviously a woman in the industry and working for a fantastic brand that has the lab, and being able to see the process go through. And I'm so excited for the launch of that. And it will come in pieces, if you like, the jacket and then the pants, the gloves and then the boots, because certain products take longer to innovate and design and manufacture than others. And the process is changed depending on what it is. But yeah, to be a part of that and to be able to then from that project be able to develop these connections and networks with other fellow female in the industry, like you said, the event yesterday, and being able to touch and touch on all these topics that we're all saying, and it was just a really safe space. And Melissa, it was absolutely, she's doing amazing things for the industry, especially over here, and Bear and stuff. Like there's so many again of these really amazing influential people in this industry that are inspirational. And if we can get more people like that through networking and connecting and being more than just a brand and pushing them out to the industry, so hopefully again to recruit more people to this industry and start thinking about it. I mean, there's another whole topic that I could go on about with recruiting into utilities, which is a big demand in the UK and here, and changing that stigma around utility work, because there is a stigma around it. And again, just all these little areas that I in my role, especially at Arbortec, get to hear about, and I'm a solution person, and Arbortec's a solution brand, and we're always looking for how can we help. And one of the big things, obviously, recruitment of women, recruitment into utilities, all these things where I'm finding ways and solutions that we can support in different, and connections, right?
Yeah.
Like finding these little connections where you can be like, oh, this person's great and this person's great, and you know, try and inspire and bring on the next generation.
I love it. I love it. Well, as we've gotten to know each other over the last couple of days, it's just very interesting to hear about your world, and thanks for sharing some of what the new stuff is and at Arbortec, and thanks for the conversation.
No, thanks for the time. I love it.